Hello, hello, dear viewers, friends, and all of that. This is TBT here, bringing you not another episode of the ARK Aberration Let's Play, although we are on the map and this is the same save file. No. This is another one of my idiot's guides, specifically an idiot's guide to Aberration. Why would I do something like this? Well, with ARK Ascended coming, that suddenly guides to various maps seem a little bit more relevant. Also, it never hurts just to get a refresher. And also, I'm gonna be real. Part of the issue here with me continuing the Let's Play right now is that I'm still waiting on raising babies and getting mutations and stuff. So, yeah, that project is coming along, but we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer on that one before I'm actually ready to go fight the boss, and I've already covered my thoughts on that particular issue that I'll have to deal with in future Let's Plays, where I run out of things to do but raise babies, and I don't really want to raise babies on camera because I've done that already in this Let's Play, so I think I did it a bit with the ravagers and whatnot, so I really don't think there's a whole lot of footage to be had there. So instead we're doing this. Now, and that's, again, mostly to buy time, but also because I think Aberration's a very different beast from most of the other maps. And that's not to say that especially the later canon maps aren't different in their own way. I think this one's the weirdest out of all of them, though, for reasons that we'll get into. And you'll see right here, we are in the most infamous starting area, potentially in all of ARK. We'll get to that in just a second. First of all, if you find yourself enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or even if you just haven't subscribed yet. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new video update, and be sure to share with your friends. It really does help me out, and I gratefully appreciate it. Anyway, now that I got that word salad out of the way, let's dive right into the first point I want to make here on this guide. This is going to be a little bit different from the mutations guide, which was very straightforward. Basically had one topic to cover, and I didn't have to do a whole lot for it. Here, I got a little bit more to worry about. Now, you'll see that we are in the gateway section, and it is marked by a blue, green, and red gate, similar to the obelisks, and it is a lovely place. You'd think it'd be a lovely place to start the game. It is not. I do not recommend starting here, and this is my first point to cover starting off. It'll offer you several starting locations. I recommend going to any of the Fertile Lake ones. But this one, no. You can, and sometimes, and I think I chose to when I started the Let's Play. I'd have to go back and rewatch the episode, but, you know, it was not a walk in the park, but it was still easier. But let me show you why. You'll see why right there. See that guy? Right there? Yeah, imagine you spawn in initially. You're doing your thing. You're having a grand old time. You know, you're just starting out. And suddenly this attacks you. This endgame creature just comes over and nails you with... Or worse, he poison Hadoukens you and blows you up. And you're just done. Yeah. I do not recommend starting here. It is a beautiful area, but a very dangerous one. And I do understand the point, though. The point is to tell you that you are in for a rough ride with this map. This map is, in my opinion, has it's not overall the hardest, but I would say it has the most massive difficulty spike of them all. You see, even over here, we've got bears, we've got this guy, we've got Megalania, although that's modded. Still, we've got a Carnotaurus over here. We got raptors. If you're just starting out and this is like the first time, like, not the first time playing the game, but your first experience as you start off, you have no weapons, no armor, no creatures to protect you. This is a scary place. Let's take a look down here real quick before we move on. Yeah, you can see, it's not too bad over here, but it's not much better. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Moving on. The next point I want to cover on this guide, assuming my cat isn't about to yell at me for something, as he is known to do, is we're going to talk about base location, because that is the first notable difference You know, I'm sure we're all, and you can see actually my original base, my original starting location, not my starting location, but like the first base I built was this old house right here. Ooh, oh. The hell was that? What is that? Is that a Nigerian fire spitter? I think it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Hello, sir. You have a good time over there. Please don't blow up my building. I need it as an example. Yeah, this is like the first like structure I really put together on this map. And you can see right now this is still not a great spot. There are lots of great spots on this map that you can build on, but I wouldn't worry too much about looks here. First of all, the game really doesn't reward how awesome your base looks, and I wish it did. I wish there was more of a reward for that, but I digress. Wait, and there it is. Hold on. Anyway, we're back. He might complain again here in a second, so I'll have to deal with that if he does. But, yep, and there he goes. You probably didn't hear that because he didn't start meowing, but I just turned and he's facing the door, so... Come on, but Charlie. He is a very needy cat. Anyway, like, you'll see right here what this house, in spite of its dangerous location, does have, is a lot of good vision. I have great vision of the surrounding area for the most part, so it's very unlikely things will sneak up on me unless they spawn right next to the building. Other than that, I have great vision. I can see most of what was coming, and that served me quite well. I recommend this as a starter location. Something like this, where you have room to see anything. Because being able to see means is just another layer of protection against the horrors that live here. Like this guy. Yeah, that is a modded creature, but you see my point. Thank you, Charlie. Ooh! I mean, we'll get back to this guy in a minute. This is important. But yeah, like you go over here, great spot right there, right down there. Although I would be watchful of this gentleman there. Anyway, the place that's safest to build when it comes to Aberration is build high. Now, how do you do that? Well, if you know anything about this map, you'll know that it was the map that introduced us to the cliff platform. Oh my god, hold on. As I said, the cliff platform, the natural evolution and progression of the tree platform from Island. Cliff platforms obviously go on cliffs, on anything really. Like any wall like this. So any wall here can be used as one. And the advantage to them is, as I said, the height. Height provides safety from all this nonsense down here. That guy, what's he doing? Michael Phelps, the parasaur. Anyway, yeah, height provides safety, but it also provides another issue, another thing to deal with, because those cliff platforms are pretty expensive. Even the wooden one is pretty pricey. And that means you're going to be harvesting a lot of resources early game, but most importantly, this resource that I'm speaking of is space. You're going to need multiple platforms to really encompass one base, especially if you don't have a cryo fridge yet or anything like that. In which case, you are basically at the mercy of whatever is available to you, unless, of course, you make some space on the ground and use an elevator, which was also released with this map. Or you find places that are above where you've put your cliff platforms and wall them off as normal and use that. But yeah, basically, this map makes space a rare commodity that you have to be careful of. Storing creatures does not work as well as it used like it used to here. And when this map first came out, we didn't have the cryo fridge or cryopods, so you had to do it the old-fashioned way. Nowadays, we have the cryo fridge, the cryopods, and of course, if you use mods, the vastly superior Dino Storage V2 has the Soul Terminal, which just makes life so much easier. Anyway, yeah, I think that basically covers that. As I also said, there's a whole lot of gorgeous locations throughout the map to build, and like this one right here. You could also choose the one that I picked, and I'll bring us over to that before we move on. Just a real quick peek and... Oh my god. Yep. I'll bring us back when we're there, just to save time. Here we are, home sweet home. Haven't shown it off in a while in a video either. And you can see we've got the breeding project going on down below. I'll have to check that before we move on, but that's not important really at present. You can see here we've got plenty of space. It's really safe. And I've got this whole area up above for whatever I want. And also lots of room for all my extra things. And yeah, I think it's not... I really could have done more with it aesthetically, and I could also just finish my roof. But I think overall this has been just fine. But like I said, there's so many great spots you can build on, and you can make it look pretty if you want to, but I feel like that's a secondary priority overall, because the game really doesn't offer any solid rewards for that, and I wish it would. Anyway, on to the next. Alrighty, we're back, and on the next topic, let's talk about some important tames for this map. As always, standard operating procedure for ARK, you really can't go wrong with the good old Ankylosaurus Doedicurus Wombo combo. And of course, you'll be getting them on this map with some glowy spikes and stripes and all that good stuff. Wow, I actually forgot how good the Aberration Doedicurus looked. really nice. Yeah, you cannot go wrong with them, but normally where you would tame a theory or a beaver for extra wood, on this map you will probably want to get yourself a roll rat. Not only, as you can see, are they a fantastic travel mount, but they can also do this. Well, they will as soon as I am smart enough to actually get towards the... There we go. You can see... Really? Wow. See right there, I get an astonishing amount of fungal wood off of these things, and... Oh, great. I just started a fight. Let's get out of here. Or not. Excuse me. There we go. Oh, shit. Those ravagers are still mad at me. Alright, let's go get them. Ooh, sorry about that. Let's deal with business here. Alright, business dealt with. Alright, cool. Wow, you took your sweet time, didn't you? Okay. Well, while I'm thinking about it, let's talk about light pets here. So let's get these guys out of the way first. Oop. Yeah, mention the roll rat. You can see what a good travel companion it is for getting around, well, getting around a decent portion of the map. It's fast, it's strong, and it can carry a lot of weight, which is always welcome. But over here, let's, okay, where's that guy? Okay, you got your, when you first start out, you'll probably be taming one of these. This is a bulb dog. I mean, everybody probably knows that, but I'm gonna say it anyway. This ugly, cute, ugly little guy is your standard bearer for the light pets. There are 4 different types of light pets, and this is both the first and actually one of the better ones, in my opinion. I think it's probably the beefiest out of all of them, and it also has, you know, you'll notice here if we go to stats, it has, in place of stamina and oxygen and melee damage, it has charge capacity, which is the total amount of charge light it can hold. Charge light is another resource in the game, but not one you can directly harvest as much as make containers for it or tame containers for it, as is the case here. Charge regen, which is when you run out of charge capacity or when you just turn your light off, how quickly that stat regens. And then charge emission range, which is how far your charge light will go from you when your light's on. And this is the bulb dog. This is the first one. Second one is the glowtail. Now, some people have a hard time finding these, and that's because they're in the first cave that you find. We won't go over that. It's just called, I forget, it's like the abandoned railway or something like that. We're not going to be going into the caves today. This is a general overview, an idiot's guide. Now, the final light pet, and all of these, by the way, are good in their own way. And I say final when there's 2 more. This guy right here is a little glitched, which is why I didn't want to take him out right now. This is the Shinehorn. This is the first and only light pet you will find in the blue zone. Basically, it's just a little baby goat with glowing horns, and it's really cute. Fun fact, this was Mei Yin's light pet of choice. I think hers was called Xiao or something like that. And the final light pet is this one on my shoulder. This is a feather light. You only find these in the radiation zone, and we'll get into more detail on that in a bit. But yeah. So most of the creatures that I've listed off, other than the ones that I've said otherwise, you will be able to find here in the green zone. Like, the green zone, in my opinion, is probably the area you will spend the most time in. It just got so much of what you need, and it's fairly once you get into the later game, it's fairly easy to set up shop and just easily access the other locations. Even the basilisk can be found in the green zone, as you saw earlier. You're definitely going to be wanting to tame. Okay, this is the only creature I threw out that you probably don't need, but you still can tame it, and it is still a very powerful creature. The problem with it is that it doesn't have without mods. It is weak to... It will still suffer from radiation poisoning. So you got to bear that in mind. Let's see. And there's another one that I haven't brought out yet, which I need to do, and that is this gentleman. This is the Ravager, and this guy right here is going to be your best friend. Your best friend in the blue and green zones. Without mods, this guy right here is it. It's pretty fast, it's pretty powerful, and if you've run into them in the wild, you know why they are nasty. You can see right there, we're doing some respectable damage. We get off the bleed, although I don't think unmodded ones do that. It's also got a good jump, and it can... What the fuck is going on here? Wow. That was embarrassing for him. Anyway, oh. Well, that's unfortunate. What the hell killed him? Oh, he died to bleed. Shit. Oh, well, I've got a bunch more of them, so... It kind of sucks, but I'm not that miffed about it. But yeah, like I said, this is the Ravager, and this is your go-to travel mount probably throughout most of the game. That is until you get one of these. And by one of these, this is the Karkinos. This is the giant crab. And, this right here is one of its many uses. You can pick things up and move them around, creatures. But, okay, let's turn off my light so I'm not killing my Reaper here. Although I'm going to be anyway. Actually, why don't I just put these away? Why don't I start putting creatures away so that they're not out here and not in danger of getting murked? Okay. That's the berry. We'll get to that. Okay. Karkinos, as you can see, has many uses, and I've gone over this in the Karkinos taming video, so I'll spare all the details here just for the sake of time. Karkinos has a great jump. It's very maneuverable. It's not especially fast, but it is quite powerful and quite tanky. But the main reason you'll want one of these is that you can carry other creatures around, specifically your Anki and your Dodic. This is great for harvesting resources. Makes it just a lot easier to get where you're going and get back safely. And all around, you will not regret the resources it takes to trap and tame this creature. It does require catapult boulders to knock it out, like a golem, although I think it's a lot easier than the golem is. Which brings us to this thing right here. That would be the Baryonyx, the Aberrant Baryonyx. You're really only going to need this for one section of the game, and that is the Aberrant Cave. A Sarco or an Angler will also suit you well for this, but the Baryonyx is just a good all-arounder, and its utility as a travel mount shouldn't be ignored either. Alright, we've covered the berry, we've covered the Karkinos. Yeah, I had to pause the footage when Dad came in there. Bring this out, put this away, put you away. We've covered the Basilisk. Hold on. Okay, we're back. And now on to what is, without a doubt, in my opinion, uncontested, the most useful creature on Aberration. This guy. This is the Rock Drake. I mean, you've seen it in my other videos. Like, do I need to explain anything? Flyers don't work here. You can't fly with... Flyers don't normally spawn here. And even if you do bring one in, it won't be able to fly here. But the Rock Drake can glide. And it just makes life so much easier. Like, this is your ticket to getting around the map. You can only get these by stealing eggs from within the radiation zone in their nests. And we'll get more into detail on that later on in this video. But long story short, once you have this, you can travel virtually anywhere on the entire map, and uncontestedly so. But there is one more creature that, in my opinion, should be noted as something you want to tame simply for how good it is. And that is this thing right here. So, unfortunately, taming it requires... This is the Reaper King, by the way. This is mine. His name is Xerxes. And as you can see, this is a big, mean, xenomorph-looking dinosaur creature. And yeah, that's about the sum total of what it is and what it does. Does a nice chunk of damage. Has a wide variety of attacks, including the bite, and the tail swipe. But what makes this thing really stand out from other giant beat sticks is that it can jump high, it can run fast, and it's otherwise just a fantastic creature. Now, getting one, unfortunately, requires you to subject yourself to what is best described as, well, I probably can't say the word on YouTube, but suffice it to say, it ends with you getting pregnant on the first date with a Reaper Queen. Whether you want to or not. Yeah. Once you get the Reaper Queen, you probably do, though. Once you get the Reaper Queen to low enough health with a light pet, turn off that light pet, she will glow purple, and then she will grab you with the mesh of her tail, and then sting you, injecting an embryo into you, which will cause it to chest burst out of you, much like a xenomorph, yada yada. See the video where I tame one of these, where I get this guy for more details there. But, yeah. Getting one of these is not quite as good as having a Rock Drake, but it's still very useful. And in my opinion, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't at least get one of them. But with that all out of the way, let's put all these guys back where they belong. There is one more creature to talk about on this map. Actually, there's a couple. One of them I don't have, which is the Spino. Never did tame one. You can. It's not super useful, but it's not bad. They are very good creatures. But the one I do want to talk about, let's go to my base, because there's a whole lot of them already out over here. These right here are Megalosaurus, and unlike on every other map, these guys don't sleep here. The Aberrant Megalosaurus does not need to sleep at all, and it will always be at full power. It's the right size, it's fast, it's powerful, and this is probably going to be your best friend for killing Rockwell. These things are normally the go-to dino of choice for that. And oh boy, I have eggs to go through. So, I think that'll round out for important tames to cover here on Aberration. Let's get moving. Alrighty, we're back and ready to talk about the next thing, which is progression. So when you start out Aberration for the first time, you're probably going to notice that each of the zones has different resources and sort of different levels of challenge. I think this is the aspect that Aberration does better than any other map that's been released before or since, and that's just progression. Your progression through the game, your progression through the map is dictated by these zones, basically, what you can find in them, and you know how to, and little ways to get around that. For example, not just the creatures you can tame, but the resources you can find. Green zone is heavy on wood, crystal, well, not really crystal, but also crystal. Wood, stone, these little fun guys, some of the mushrooms can be found here, but watch out for these red ones, because some of the red ones will give you a nasty dose. Like this. Oh, just gonna trip out there for a second while I keep talking. Anyway, anyway, yeah, high wood, stone, green gems, crystal, flint, lots of those early game resources that you're gonna want. Lots of thatch, all that good stuff. But and you'll be spending, I would say, vast majority of the game here. Let's see. Let's venture deeper in, shall we, to the blue zone. Now, in the blue zone, that's where you really start seeing metal. It's also where you'll find your Ankies and stuff like that. Usually when you're ready to come here, oh, well, I'll just land in the water. Usually when you're ready to... What is going on? Usually when you're ready to come here, you'll be looking for blue gems. You'll be looking for metal, which is in these blue... like these rocks with the glowing blue lines. That's metal. That's metal nodes. You will also be looking for shine horns, things like that. You know, this is when you're ready to start making regular forays into the zone, which is why Karkinos is so useful, because it lets you take care of lots of things down here without a problem, and allows you to get back home pretty easily, and keep your creatures safe while doing so. But it also is home to this right here is when light pets become relevant. You see these little guys here? See these things? These little guys are called nameless, and as their name implies, they are indeed nameless. They are also probably maidenless, but that's not really the point here. These little guys will keep spawning, and they will keep just otherwise being a pest to your entire game until you deal with them. And as you can see there, I wasn't doing a whole lot of damage to them, so let's get another couple of them to come after me, so we can... Yep, there we go, right there. Now let's watch what happens when I turn on my light from my feather light. Notice how they all have that glow like the Reaper King did? Watch this. Boom! Deceased. Very, very, very useful to have your light pet, and it will protect you from them, and it will also stop them spawning as long as its light is on. Oops. Well, that was unfortunate. Yeah, blue zone, in my opinion, is the prettiest zone on the map, and also definitely one of the most dangerous. There's another type of mushroom here, but that can also spore you with blue spores, and those are really nasty. You will also find another of the 3 caves on this map here. There are only 3 caves. One in green, one in blue, and one in the radiation /red/purple zone. There are only 3 artifacts on this map as well. We'll cover that more in detail later. But for now, yeah, this is the blue zone. As you can see, lots of things you can find here you can also find in the green zone, and I don't find that there are many creatures here besides baryonyx and some of the aquatic ones that you can't find in green that are particularly useful, but still. You can also find Megalosaurus here, so this is a great chance to get one early on and, you know, do what you do with that. You can also find large amounts of Karkinos down here, but again, you can tame that in green, and given the effort needed to do it, it's probably more advisable to do it there. But one quick thing before we move on to the next zone is all of this. Look at all these great places to build with cliff platforms and what have you. I was going to build a base here in my Let's Play, but I elected not to. It was just too late in the game. I was going to build it right back here. I think Syntac actually built a base in a similar location to this. But just look at this. Wouldn't you want to live down here? Man, oh man. Pretty, pretty. Alright, let's get moving. Welcome to the radiation zone, also known as the red or purple zone. And, guys, are you two just running the treadmill or something? Okay. Here is where you will find, obviously, you'll find these lovely gentlemen, the Perlovia. Love them, love to see them. That is obvious sarcasm. But you will find Spinos here as well as in the green zone. You will also find red gems here. I forgot to say in blue zone you will find blue gems too. I think I may have. But one of the little loopholes for blue and red gems, if you're in the green zone, is you can go to a roll rat up in either one of those zones, and they will, when they dig out of their holes, they will leave little gems. Excuse me, we've got some. So that is unauthorized activity. No, none of that. They've got these little. They'll dig up their little gems. Now, if you take them, the roll rat will aggro on you, when it otherwise wouldn't. So be advised, be careful, but definitely worth getting that, because in order to come down here, you need to have a radiation suit. You need to have this stuff right here. The hazard suit is what you need, and you'll want a bunch of them. You'll want a bunch of that. You'll want several pieces of each armor. I'm sorry. You will want several of each piece of this armor, because it will break over time. As you can see, the durability does expire. And you need red gems in order to make the gas collector, I believe. Unless you feel like collecting all those gas balls by hand, and I don't advise that. So, yeah, you come down here for red gems, more crystal, more metal, and a whole lot of stuff. But there's another reason to come down here, and in order to do that, we're going to need to follow the path for a little bit, so I will take us there and bring us back. You know what? I'll actually just let it record for a bit and let you guys enjoy the view, and as we follow this spine-looking thing that is indeed called the spine, all the way down here. And be advised, that purple stuff right there, that is raw liquid molten element. Don't fall in that. It's bad. It is very bad for your health. Although it will not instantly kill you, it's definitely not fun at parties. Now, the way I chose to do this is not the way you will be doing it if you're doing it for the first time. Now, you see that spot right there with the yellow? Let's go over there and check that out. This is where you come to get rock drakes. It's one of two places where they will nest. And I'm going to quickly take you through that and try not to die in the process. That would not be cash money. Oh my. Oh dear. Oh boy. I'm in the right area, right? Yeah, I am. Well, I'm in one of them. Okay, there's where we want to go. Now, you can see how the spine has angled down from this point. So we're going to fly over here. You can see there's a path. There's a path here that would have come from further up, right where the spine starts to bend. And now you see that? You see that little purple thing down there? That's a rock drake egg. You can see these all these cubbies here can spawn rock drake eggs. Now, again, I'm sure most people probably know this. Like, this map has been out for years at this point. But, you know, again, for refreshment's sake, just come down here now. One of the reasons why this map is so difficult is that, much like the wyverns, when you grab one egg, for some reason, literally every single rock drake will drop whatever it's doing and come over and be like, ah! And it turns into an absolute mess. Now, I'm not going to kill either one of these because they're high level, so I can put them to work if I want eggs from them by letting them live to populate the nests. So we're not going to do that. Instead, let's go check out... Oh my god, let's go check out where Rockwell is. And that's also a great time to talk about another thing before we... Oh. You can see right there, you do take a significant amount of damage from landing in that stuff. It is not fun. Don't do that. You will also kill your shoulder pet, if I'm not mistaken. Not instantly, of course, but yeah. Still not fun. You go this way, you follow this blue, like these blue lights. Notice here how these are like, when the tech and the element in the tech is functioning properly, it's got this blue glow to it, but everywhere else has the corrupted violet glow. Right here, this is the spot, and you can see we have an unauthorized visitor or two in the area. I'm sorry, we have a few of them. We're going to deal with them real quick. You can see there's your boss terminal right there. And that's it. Now, as for coordinates, just look at if anytime you want to see coordinates to an area, go ahead and pause the video, top left corner. Whenever I have the super awesome spyglass on, it'll give you those coordinates. So just remember that. And now let's move on. Oh, right. Oops. Let's actually head back, because there's one other thing I wanted to talk about. This might turn into a longer video than I meant it to, but this map does have a lot of things to cover. Also, this right here, this is what you're looking for. Let me actually see if this is harvestable. Oh, come on, man. Man. Really? Damn it. Good grief. I think there might be an overpopulation issue here, Mr. Rockwell. I think you may want to do something about that. Okay. You can't harvest red gems from those, but that's basically the type of crystal you're looking for, or little ones around it will yield them. But yeah, we can go ahead and talk about this, and the reason we can do that is I can come over here, and it will tell me what I need to do here. Let's say I wanted to generate an Aberration Gamma portal. What do I need for that? Well, I need to be level 60, and I need to have the basic 3 artifacts: the Depths, the Shadows, and the Stalker. Now, for beta, you need 4 basilisk. You need all those 3 things: 4 basilisk scales, 12 nameless venoms, 2 Reaper pheromone glands, which you get by killing Reaper queens. You get nameless venom, of course, from killing nameless. And you need 2 rock drake feathers. Bear this in mind. These are materials you're going to need to collect throughout your playthrough on the map in order to fight this guy at various difficulties. Now, to fight Alpha, you will need 1 Alpha Basilisk Fang, which you get from, obviously, Alpha Basilisk. Alpha Carcanos Claws. Most of the Alpha pieces that you need, like the actual alphas from an alpha creature, can be found in the green zone. Only one cannot, and that is the Alpha Reaper King Barb. In order to get that, you have to go to the surface. You must go to the surface, and you must basically wander around until you find one, and we'll cover that when we get to the surface. But for now, you got the usual 3 artifacts. You need 8 Basilisk Scales, 20 Nameless Venom, 7 Reaper Pheromone Glands, and 7 Rock Drake Feathers. So in total, what you need for all 3 bosses is 3 sets of each artifact. You need, 12 Basilisk Scales. You need, You need 32 Nameless Venom. You need 9 Reaper Pheromone Glands and 9 Rock Drake Feathers. That is all the basic materials you need for all 3 of these bosses. All 3 of these bosses, plus the 1 individual alpha from each one, yada yada. So, very straightforward. And by the time you get through this portion of the playthrough, that's what you should be doing. Now, back to the matter at hand of progression. Once you have a Rock Drake, once you have yourself a decent Rock Drake, you're probably going to want to do 2 or 3 trips. The first time you do it, it doesn't matter what level the Rock Drake is, by the way. It just doesn't. As long as it's not, like, really bad, like a level 5, you'll be fine. Because you really want that first Rock Drake to help you come down here and get a second one. So, don't stress too much if it's not the best one in the world. It does not need to be for these purposes. But once you have a really good one, that's when you're ready for the next portion of the map. That's when you're ready to go up to the surface, and we will cut over to that right now. Welcome to the either the 3rd or 4th area you will go on your progression through this map. This is the surface. Now, there are multiple, if you'll look at my map here for a second, you will see that there are, in fact, multiple surface entrances. There's one in Blue Zone. I don't know if I have it listed here. I think so. Here, let's hop off for a second. Get a point. Remove and just take a look. You got northeast surface, northwest surface, blue surface, so I do have that. There's the southwestern surface as well. Like, there are multiple surface entrances. We are at the northeastern one, and let's take a note of the time, because that's important too. Now, up here, resources you will find will include keratin from all of those bones. I don't know why those bones are still there untouched. You'll find a lot of metal as well. I think you can get it from, like, any of the rocks here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. You can also get oil up here. As you can see, we've got an oil node. Yep, metal. Metal for days. Absolutely. There is another resource to be found up here. I don't know if we'll find it. Oh, here we go. Right here, right here. See this stuff? That right there is where when you're ready to get element ore, you come here for it. And you will need that to craft element on this map, and trust me, that is a process. Not necessarily a worthy one either, in my opinion. And right on time, you will see why this is, in my opinion, in some ways much more dangerous than even the radiation zone. Because of these. We didn't talk about the Reapers that appear down in the radiation zone. Those are Reaper Queens. We did briefly touch on them, but they are, in my opinion, they're rare compared to the absolute swarm tactics of the Surface Reapers. And again, in my opinion, they're not as powerful. Wait. Hold up. What am I talking about? Let's look at it another way. The Reaper Queens have more health than any other Reaper the Surface Reaper King. However, oh man, I said swarm tactics, and of course nothing's happened. By the way, that right there is the planet Earth. Yeah, it is in a sorry state. Also, so are the obelisks on this map, as you can see. They've all seen better days. Seekers can be found up here. Nameless can be found up here if you don't have a light. Lots of madness, but the most dangerous thing on this map is something we're going to have to wait for not on this map, but on this area, is something we'll have to wait for daybreak for. Okay, so here's what I meant by swarm tactics, and this is why, in my opinion, these Reapers are much more dangerous than the Reaper Queens, because they will swarm you. Although this guy was kind enough to wait for me. I really don't understand why he chose to do that, but far be it from me to question it. Alright. Acid burn. Let's get out of here. Trying to stay close to the entrance, but what I'm really trying to do... let's get rid of this stuff. We don't need it. Like I said, we got to keep an eye on the time, and that time is running out. Let's just also suffice it to say, I didn't mention this earlier, so I will now. The way loot drops work on this map is switched. Cave drops are more common because they are underground, so you won't be running into them as often. Or no, so you'll be running into them a lot more often than you will the standard surface drops. For that reason, they had the wonderful foresight to switch which loot types are more common in which. So basically, surface drops are as valuable as cave drops are on other maps up here. And in order to get them, you have to brave the surface. So, as daylight starts on the horizon, I do want to show off one thing first. So we'll come back when, and that will tell you why. You can only come up here at night, only at night. As you're about to see, trying by day, not a good idea. Alrighty, and we're back. It is now daylight. Here's why you don't come up here during the day. See that line right there? Yeah, no. Nope, nope. Bad. We don't do that. Nope. Damn. Yeah, that right there is extremely dangerous. Basically, long story short, the future tech tribe that used to live here attempted to, like, in order to connect I forget why they did it exactly. They were trying to get off the station, but in order to do that, they had to take down the protective energy shield. So they did, not realizing that that shield also was contained the atmosphere of the station. Now, they didn't completely take it down, but they damaged it enough that it wouldn't, that the sun's radiation could get in during the day. Obviously, because the sun would be facing it. But I digress. And it's scorched. It used to be that a lot of the aberration surface probably would have looked something like this. Something like what you see here with Green Zone. Maybe there would have even been oceans or something. I'm not sure. But what is clear is that it scorched the surface and forced them underground. And at that point, the AI decided, even though they blew it up with a nuke, for some reason, still decided that, hey, you can't fly anymore. Screw you. So their tech, their tech that allowed them to fly in the tech suits just stopped working. Ah, yes, there's a basilisk right there. But yeah, that does it for your line of progression. So you start out in green. From there, you'll work your way into blue, making multiple trips. You're welcome at that point to make a base in blue or whatever, you know. And I'm just offering suggestions. Like, I'm not saying this is how you must do this or you're not doing it right. As I've said before, and will say again, the correct way to play the game is whichever one allows you to have the most fun. So, but I can offer my advice on, like, what I, as someone who loves this map, as just what I think, you know, might work best and might give you the easiest time. But that, again, is entirely up to you. But yeah, we've mentioned loot, we've mentioned most of the important creatures. Oh, we didn't cover a couple of them because I never tamed them. But, oh, okay, well, that man's having a very bad day. Oh, dear. Lol. Yeah, for an early game berry collector, I went with the Diplodocus, but that's because I'm using mods that make the Diplodocus better. You will probably want to get yourself, as per normal, Stegosaurus or Trike. Both are very good. I honestly don't think one is any better or worse than the other in terms of, like, how they function. But I will say that, without a doubt, the Stego is the more versatile of them, and you can harvest wood with it, as well as thatch, so bear that in mind. And I do have a little bit of bias when I say that, because Stegosaurus used to be my favorite dinosaur, and still remains one of my favorite to this day. But I digress. Hey, sir. You need to calm down. But yeah, anyway, let's see if there's anything else I need to cover about Aberration. So we covered your line of progression, and then, you can see right there. Let's go over here. This is what I meant with the gems and the roll rats. Now, this guy only put out green gems, but they'll put out blue and red. And unfortunately, when tamed, they will not do that, so you won't get gems out of them, but oh well. We've covered artifacts. We've covered how loot drops work. We didn't go over climbing picks, but I think they're self-explanatory once you get them. Gliding suit is as well. Glow stick, again, another way of having light. Light is very important on this map, whether it's charged or otherwise. There are charged lamp items that you can craft that will allow you to... basically, they give you a gun that you can use to damage Nameless. But it's like, just make a light pet. You're saving yourself trouble. Yeah. Don't bother with the charge guns. Yeah, they're okay, but quite frankly, I think you're just better off taming a light pet and not worrying about the Nameless at all. But just be advised that light pets have a limited amount of time that they can stay lit up. So once that expires, you will have to fight the Nameless, or you'll have to get out of there. That's your choice. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Ah, yes. One last thing before we end off the video. And that is, Let's say you've done everything. You've collected all the artifacts. You've gotten all the alpha drops, and you are doing exactly what we're doing up here. You are doing final prep for an army. Couple things you need to know. I will not be sharing footage of my fight with Rockwell on this save file because I haven't done it yet, and I want to save that, for when we fight him. When we fight him in the Let's Play. That's what I want to save that for. So, I apologize in advance. There will be no extra footage of me fighting Rockwell here. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about him as we look upon these glorious fuzzballs that are my Megalosaurus and my Nigerian Fire Spitters. So, let's say you've done that. You've readied your army of 20 creatures, one of which must be a light pet. I highly recommend at least one is also a Rock Drake, because you will want that maneuverability. Aberration Rockwell is a very different beast from all the other bosses on the other canon maps up to this point. He's, in my opinion, the most interesting boss fight, and that's not just because he's voiced by David Tennant, which, if you haven't seen yet, yes, he did get lines added in that were after the fact, where he that sort of explain why he's so petty towards you on Genesis, but that's beside the point. He has actual phases, and he's not just the boss you whistle to attack. You can only attack him, you can only damage him after you've wounded all of his tentacles and forced them back into the element pool that he spawns from. Once you've done that, he will become vulnerable to damage, and that is when you send your lovely army of whatever it is, including these guys, it can be Reapers, it can be whatever, at him, and they will chip away at his HP until he regains his composure. Because having a bunch of dinosaurs bite at your element-corrupted chest will probably eventually rouse you out of whatever stun you're in. It just tends to be how the world works, Anyway, basically rinse and repeat, but he can dish out, obviously, melee attacks with his tentacles. He can shoot electrical element balls at you, and for that reason, you will want a shotgun and plenty of ammunition. You will want your light pet, and you will want hazard suits. Preferably ones that have better stats than the base one. I've used an upgrade mod to help me upgrade these things so I don't have to go farming blueprints all day. But, yeah, you're going to want this. You're going to want stuff like this. But in any event, yeah, he can do all that. You're going to want that shotgun to fend off those electrical balls. You're going to want it to hit those tentacles from range. And you're going to want the mobility of your Rock Drake to kite around the map. All the while, your lovely army waits for you to once again stun him so that he can be attacked. And that's your basic strategy, is destroy the tentacles, avoid getting hit by his electrical balls and his tentacle swipes. Oh, one more thing he can do, a couple more things actually. He can attack you directly, or not you directly, he can attack the floor, electrify the floor with his tentacles. And you'll want the maneuverability of the Rock Drake, like so, to avoid that, to avoid the electrified section of the floor, and avoid getting, I believe it will damage you and dismount you, question mark? I'm not sure, but I believe it does something nasty like that. In addition, he will also spawn in Nameless and a special type of Reaper called an Element Reaper. And you'll have to be ready to fend those off. They are not nice. So, be advised, that's the type of thing you're dealing with, and your army should be ready for that fight. When that right there is why I'm bothering with mutations at all. It's not so much for Rockwell himself as it is for making sure my creatures survive and can do more damage to him, as well as can fend off his own army of creatures that he summons. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that covers pretty much everything on this idiot's guide. I hope you find it helpful. I hope it makes your experience playing Aberration better. And if so, once again, do me a solid. Leave a like comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. turn on notifications so you never miss a video, and be sure to share with your friends. It really means a lot to me, and it also means a lot to know that these guides are helpful. They're not meant to be too advanced, although this is a longer one because there's just a lot to go over. And I may do one for each of the maps in turn, but that won't be just yet. I also, once again, apologize for the lack of a Let's Play video this week. You're going to be getting 2 of these instead. The next one will probably cover caves more in depth, because we've got 3 wonderful examples of caves here we can work with. Alrighty, and with that out of the way, it is time for me to bid adieu. It has been lovely, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace!